drunk. Whoa. All right, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday, May 7th, 8 p.m. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in, everybody. Hope you had a good day. Slick's here. He's going to do some sports. Rick Delgado's double duty tonight. He's got the news plus a Wednesday edition of What Even Is That? Mr. Delgado, how are you?
I am well.
Kissing Paul's behind by doing it on a Wednesday because he's here.
That's my buddy right there.
Yeah, I know what you're doing.
Now. Well, he keeps on complimenting me, so I have to pay it back.
Is that what you're going to call it?
I really hope, as an audience, we can get one of his What Even Is That's viral. For the love of God, let's see what we can do here. Everybody make a comment. Everybody share it. All right, let's make this a conscious effort.
I'm not sure God's going to love this one.
Oh, no.
What?
I'm just saying. Paul said for the love of God, so I don't know. We'll see.
In God we bust.
Mr. Nolan's here. He's going to do the news. How are you?
Sorry. I'm just over here thinking about how the audience is going to kill me because I said for the love of God. But I want my man Rick to get one of those to go viral. I mean, it'd be good for the show, but he kind of earned it. But I had a great day, Big D.
Okay, good.
You know, we got that house over in Great Neck. Anyone who knows New York knows Great Neck's pretty fancy. And we got it completely cleaned out, all done today. And
I got rid of the pool table?
Except for the pool table. I wanted Joe the Box to have it. It's so nice and funky looking. It's from 1968, and it's in perfect condition.
Nice.
Nice.
Speaking of Joe the Box, we'll be there Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
That's 2 nights away from tonight.
Ow.
Friday night, the America First Warehouse. If you haven't made your plans yet, there's your QR code. You can scan it right there off your TV with your phone right now. It'll actually work and bring you right to their site where you can, I think, get some tickets for Friday night. And it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I actually tried it. It does work.
Yes, it does. Delgado, the technology actually works. You scan it, and then boom, right there.
Can you order your steak from it?
That's what I'm talking about. That should be part of the QR code that you can order. You put a steak sandwich on reserve,
yes,
and put a cigar on hold.
Oh, did you tell Paul?
Big D after we're done at 10 o'clock and 5 seconds.
Did you tell Paul about that?
As we get to Paul was not here last night. Joe the Box sent me a special text message during the show last night and said, special gift for you, Big D. At the event on Friday night, we are going to have this cigar truck.
Oh.
And it's called, I looked at it today. I went to their website. It's called Luxury Cigar Experience, Mac Mobile Cigar Lounge. It's a rolling cigar lounge with their own cigars, too, which I'm excited to check out their smoke and see how it is.
So instead of the green room, we'd be in there puffing away, and we come, as the kids would say, that's dope.
Yeah, it looks dynamite. So
what are they do? We're going to smoke up and
there
then
you go with the guys in there. Check that out, huh?
Then we're going to come in looking like Pigpen from
No, this is after.
Smoke floating around us.
No, not before. After the show. I'm assuming they'll still be there.
Okay.
And if not, I'll stand in the parking lot by myself. I don't know, whatever. So,
are you guys going to bring your wives to one of these shows? What's going on? How come I'm the only guy who did that?
Well, Paul, I don't know if I want to give you that answer on air, but no, I'm not.
What? Why? Because she hates your politics? She's a teacher.
No, she don't hate his politics.
Are you kidding me? She's worse than me. Kidding me? Right. No, I don't know. Of course she is. Well, she'll be in Atlantic City this weekend, so she won't be there this Friday, but
partying.
Maybe some Friday. Exactly.
I was going to try to bring Maui to one of the shows with my wife, one of my birds.
Would the bird sit on your shoulder for the show?
He'd come on stage. Yeah, I have to get there a little early. He'd sit for a segment or two. Yeah, Maui would sit there. Yeah, he'd sit there all night, actually.
Okay.
It wouldn't scare him, all the lights, all the people?
He'd have to walk in, get a little acclimated at first. He has to look around and everything like that. But yeah, he should be okay. I have him on a harness anyway.
Right?
So even if he got spooked, he'd fly from here to the Bourbon. He wouldn't go that far.
Okay. So can we teach him to say things?
Maui is very bright. He can talk. Yeah.
Oh,
can he do interviews?
Can we get a mic on a bird, Fran? Have you ever done that? Other than me?
well, so many jokes. And
yeah, I mean, forget about it.
You can put a mic on a stick and the bird can go on the stick.
we wing this show every night. What are you talking about?
Bird brains is what he's used to, yeah. So, all right, well, it's going to be fun Friday night, 5 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. So lots to talk about. What even is that coming up tonight? Delgado, would you like to give a hint of what even is that is about?
Yes.
Okay, what would that be?
Of course I would.
Oh, God.
Can't wait to hear this one.
But she lived.
Okay, all right, very good.
Didn't put that down, did you?
But
He
she
was
lived.
prepared for this one.
Yes.
That's your hint for what even is that coming up at 9 o'clock. Dr.
Wow.
Kimberly Olson's going to join us at 8:30.
Dr. Kim.
To talk about social media in living in the age of social media and how women entrepreneurs can use it to their advantage. We'll talk to her, and then we'll talk to our friends from AMAC. Andy Manion will join us at 9:30. So stacked show here on a Wednesday night. So a lot of places to start, but I figured let's start here. Town Hall headline. We finally know, Delgado, pay attention. We finally know why the Epstein files still aren't public. Attorney General Pam Bondi today explained the delay in releasing files on billionaire and child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. President Donald Trump on the campaign trail repeatedly promised to release the Epstein files, including the rumored list of clients to whom the billionaire trafficked children. So far, there has been no substantive release of information about the child abuser's crimes. While speaking with reporters today, the Attorney General was asked whether the files would ever get released. And instead of me paraphrasing or reading what she said, let's just listen to her directly. Here is a clip of Pam Bondi from today with reporters.
No.
James Comer said yesterday that all the Epstein files are missing. Can you confirm what the status of them? We still haven't heard from you.
No, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement, but I'll call him later and find out.
That's in reference to James Comer yesterday, who we played on the Benny Johnson show, saying that he hopes that that there's files are there. And so, Delgado, let me come to you first. I see the look on your face. Already you have some questions.
I have issues.
Do you have issues with James Comer today, or are you more apt to believe Mr. Comer after hearing that from the Attorney General that she's just blowing smoke here to try to buy more time or do something? I don't know what she's doing, but what do you think?
I think it's a combination. The one thing that stood out, and I don't know if anybody else caught this, but she was talking about the videotapes. Now, the videotapes, of course, he had homes in New York, Arizona, or New Mexico. I can't remember. New Mexico. He had the island, Epstein Island, pedophile island.
He had a house in France.
He had a house in France. He had houses.
He had Lower Manhattan, obviously.
Right. And for a while, I guess he had a place, or did have a place in Florida as well. My question is, why is she talking about Epstein with victims?
What do you mean?
Epstein is
What did she
dead.
say?
She said they're reviewing Epstein with all these victims. Epstein is dead. There's nothing you can do.
Video, though?
There's nothing you can do against Epstein now because he's dead. According to what we've seen, that they tell us he's dead. So we have to go with he's dead.
Right,
my question is the videos, why aren't you talking about the people who did the raping other than Epstein? All the Johns. We're going through all the Johns because of who they are. We have to make. She didn't say anything about them, did she? She only mentioned Epstein, and that was my red flag. Because why is she talking about the dead guy when she should be talking about all the live guys who have done these crimes and who are not being held account to it and are walking around scot-free, thinking probably they've got it in the bag that they don't have to worry about it.
But don't you think the majority of the videos from his cameras or whatever the situation is would be of him?
Right. But she should have, kind of said, hey, he's on a lot of these, but there are a lot of other people on these, and we're trying to identify and make sure that they are who they are before we go ahead and proceed with arresting them. She didn't say that. She's talking about Epstein. The dude is dead, according to her, according to everybody. I don't know. It throws a major red flag because she didn't talk about the actual living criminals that are still walking around.
Back to Town Hall. The Attorney General released his first phase of declassified files related. I'm not really sure that I understand what you're saying. Do you think she should have said? Was that something you think the Attorney General would have said, even if they do have that? Why would she tip her hand to that?
Because these people know that they were in those houses. They know they were there. They know they're probably on tape somewhere. It doesn't take a rocket science to go, you know what, I went to that island 17 times. There's probably tape of me they're looking at right now. Right?
Yeah, right. I mean,
it's not like they're going to blow something up.
They were slipping Mickeys to everybody.
Right. It's not like they're going to blow up a case because she said we're looking at other people aside from Epstein.
So you think this update is really no update?
No update.
Okay.
Well,
Paul?
Well, I mean, I think it was no offense to Rick, but it was a long way to go to say, why didn't she say everybody but Epstein? Because it was a good point. I mean, we don't care about Epstein. We already know he's the purveyor. We already know he's him and Ghislaine were the ringleaders of this scam. We know people like Leslie Wexner, how he's not in jail is beyond me. So we want to know about who the perps are, because we have a woman in jail for purveying children, by the way. We're talking about like little kids, not a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old underage. We're talking about not even 14, 15. We're talking about children and the most unspeakable, unthinkable, the most heinous, demonic acts that could possibly happen. And we're talking about what could really blow the lid off the entire deep state and all the people who were compromised to play ball, to write law, to sign legislation, to vote certain ways on DEI and every other BS thing that we've seen come down the pipe that made no sense. But when it's all said and done, we also don't know who were the people pressing, prying, prodding, and, kind of cajoling, blackmailing these people, and why. Who in the deep state was in control of this? And was it, like when Epstein had it? Some people say he was CIA. Some say he was Mossad.
Right.
What he was an independent contractor, and it was his job to leverage the most powerful people he could and then barter it and pitch it out. He didn't work directly for them, in my opinion. I think he worked for anybody who was the highest bidder, who can use that leverage against a politician, that can create a law, can create some kind of position that makes people within the deep state big money. That's why I think why this is such an important story. So I understand Delgado's point.
So do you agree that this update is no update?
There was nothing there.
Yeah.
If you want to protect the victims and you want to go through look, there's supposedly so much disgusting tape. Could you imagine being an FBI agent, those poor guys who have to watch this horror?
Right.
I mean, I guess you can always say, hey, we're still going through you could say that kind of forever, right?
Sure.
You could.
I am certainly curious, though, what O'Keefe has coming. I hope it's something real.
All right, 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. I hear it's something on Prince William that he has or something like that. But don't we already know the deal there?
Yeah.
13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More to do. We're back right after this.
The greatest worst.
What? The game's going to go forever. It's going to be like an OT game.
What's that?
Tonight's game, double OT. I'll tell you, Boston, I feel like they're in a must-win situation here.
They are in a must.
I mean, you can't go down 2-0.
What about the finish last night between the Pacers and the Cavaliers? That was
my
insane.
God, that was insane. I could not believe that. We were on the show.
He got his own missed free
I wish we had highlights on this show. I would have had a blast.
Ticked off Patriot, what's going on? Hello, everybody in the chat. What's going on?
Chat. Drag Black is in the chat. Les Durham. Ron and Norma Klein checked in right at the top. Big D. Hi,
Lorraine on YouTube. Hello, everybody.
Cat SB.
Welcome on in. Racing Banshee, what's going on? Janice on Facebook, hello. Carol on Facebook, hello. Chat's going so fast.
So Ron and Norma Klein, who great supporters of the show,
yes,
said they're big Trump supporters, but they think that Trump was at the island. But there is no record of that as far as we know.
That would have came out already.
That would have come out.
God.
The leftist media.
He would have been guilty of the whole thing.
Yeah.
They used
They don't
it.
think
They would
about
have
what,
had him owning the island.
He would have been the purveyor of all purveyors.
think about what they did to what Barr went.
He was the owner.
The cellmate of Epstein, the mafia guy, said that Barr came to him and said, "Give us anything you have on Trump, and we'll let you go to Epstein." And that was like eyewitness from. So I think if they had anything on Trump, the whole world would have known, the entire leftist media would have known, and it would have been over for him. But that leads to a question. I'd like to ask our MAGA audience, if Trump was implicated in this and O'Keefe released it, would you hate O'Keefe forever? How do you feel about that if something was... So I just wonder, can our audience, if something is going against somebody we like, from Team MAGA, and not even Trump, like Elon supposedly has been there, and it destroys him, will you be pissed at O'Keefe or whoever reports it if it's legit? That's the big question.
Chopper Scott is in the chat. My man, Chopper Scott. How you doing, buddy?
I don't think Elon has been there.
He wasn't. I don't.
You probably,
I've done so much.
We would have heard about that one as well.
Listen,
Plus, he was so busy making his own kids. I don't think.
No,
yeah. He's got. Like
supposedly
10, 12 kids.
He had. Didn't he have one trip with Melania, his kid, and the au pair?
I have no idea. And
it was like before Epstein was of prominence. He wasn't even remotely at his level.
Well, then that would have been when he was in college.
Up 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Real America's Voice. And across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in, everybody. Slick Rick's here. He's going to do sports. Rick Delgado's got news. Plus, what even is that at 9 o'clock? Paul Nolan's going to have some news as well. Dr. Kimberly Olson's going to join us at 8:30 to talk about women entrepreneurs in the age of social media. We'll talk about that with her. She has built quite a business around it. We'll talk about that with her. Plus, our friend Andy Manion from AMAC is going to join us at 9:30. So we've got a racked and stacked show tonight. So let's get to sports and news while we can. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. MyPillow sponsors sports. Use code LFS6B at checkout when you shop at MyPillow for great stuff, whether it's pillows or mattresses or mattress toppers or slippers or towels, all the great stuff from Mike Lindell. Use code LFS6B at checkout. Slickster, what's going on in sports?
All right, Big D, scoreboard. Playoffs tonight. Good one at the half right now. Celtics in the TD Garden in a more or less must-win situation, having lost the first game at home, Game 2 East semifinals against the New York Knicks. Right now, they lead by 9, 50-41. Again, that's at the half. We'll keep tracking that game. But let's face it, they were up by 15 in the third, and the Knicks came roaring back. So Knicks would love to take 2 games and bring it back to the Garden. They'd be in a commanding position there to possibly take charge of that series and move on. The Nuggets are taking on the Thunder. Another great series with a tremendous finish on Monday night. This is Game 2, 9:30, and we have Denver leading that series, ironically, 1-0. NHL, we go. Great game up in Toronto right now. Panthers, the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs, tied at 2, 15 to go in the second period. Toronto took Game 1, so we'll keep track of that too. Big important games here. And the Jets are taking on the Stars up in Winnipeg, 9:30. And this is Game 1 of the West second round. So, wow, playoffs are just getting fired up, Big D. We're not even halfway through, and already the drama in these playoffs have just been absolutely incredible with some of these late closeouts here, like the one with Indiana last night right at the end of the show, beating Cleveland and taking the first 2 games. And I heard Steph Curry is going to be out for a week now, so that's definitely going to impact Golden State. He's got a hamstring strain, and he's going to be out for at least 1 week, and that's a totally different team without Steph Curry. I mean, they have some good young players, but they ain't going to be able to carry it without Steph. So, and this David Portnoy story just keeps unfolding here, right? With these kids that hold up the Holocaust signs, the anti-Jewish signs in the bar. Student linked to Bleep the Jews sign at Dave Portnoy's bar claims victimhood, asks for money. And Paul Boyer, Breitbart, one of the students who ordered a Jews the sign at Barstool Sports, found that Dave Portnoy's Philadelphia bar has asked for money. claiming he has been subject to a lynch mob. As Breitbart News reported, Dave Portnoy took to social media over the weekend to express outrage over an anti-Semitic incident in his Philadelphia bar. Portnoy was infuriated last week when video surfaced of one of his waitresses and two customers holding up signs that said "Bleep the Jews," and when he first learned of the outrageous incident, he vowed to ruin the people involved with the sign. Page 6 reported, "I've been shaking, I've been bleeping mad for the last 2 hours." This guy's got some vocabulary. "You think I'm going to put up with this bleep at my bar?" he asked. "I want consequences and actions." The perpetrators were later identified, and Portnoy said that he would use the incident for a teachable moment by personally paying for the two young men to visit the Auschwitz death camp instead of publicly shaming them. On Tuesday, Mo Khan launched a Give, Send, Go asking for money while claiming that Portnoy unfairly subjected him to a lynch mob over what he said was a joke. Now, this gentleman, Mo Khan, was one of the fellows that was identified in the issue, who was supposed to be going on this trip. Remember, I'm a 21-year-old college kid. I'm not a public figure. Dave is twice my age and a well-connected multimillionaire with countless connections to supporters with institutional power, he wrote on the Give, Send, Go. This asymmetric power dynamic is the reason why I previously made statements to Dave that do not accurately reflect what actually happened the other night and the responsibility I bear. I made those statements under extreme duress and threats to destroy me and my parents. Khan said his parents worked hard to earn American citizenship and Portnoy free speech. He accused Dave Portnoy of violating his crusade against cancel culture. So we're going to talk about Dave building reputation. I mean, it's just totally crazy.
I watched the kid's video. The kid's a moron, and he's obviously a hater of Israel and the Jewish people, which ironically comes through clear in his video that he makes defending his anti-Semitic sign as he continues to just. I mean, it's just that's the ironic part of the whole video.
Yep. Portnoy,
He's a moron.
Portnoy, he said on his X account, Mo Khan is an anti-Semitic coward and liar. End of story. So we'll see what happens. Besides, you're going to sue a guy. It's a money shakedown. He figures he probably gets some money out of Portnoy. But
no, it's not him. He's trying to raise it from the public.
Yeah.
He's not going after Portnoy.
Oh, he's not.
What's he going to do there? He's trying to raise money from the public by saying
public sympathy,
claiming
right?
I'm the victim.
Public sympathy. Yeah, exactly. Well, that ain't going to happen. So. All right, second half underway here, and here we go. Boston in Boston TD Garden, 50-41 still the score, 11 to go in the second half.
Here come the Knicks. Look out. Boston could be down 0-2 tonight, and my family will all be in total disarray.
It'll be some Mother's Day weekend, huh?
I'll be texting my brother-in-law tonight nasty messages on the fact that we're up 2-0 over his team.
Now, is Mom a Celtic fan?
Now, and my nephew, by the way, JJ, I asked him about this series. I said, what happens if the Knicks see the Celtics? This was on Easter. And he told me, we sweep you 4-0. I said, okay. I said, well, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
So if we go up 2-0 tonight, he's going to be getting a text. His father's going to be getting a text. And my father's going to be getting a text.
Speaking of Easter, there'll be basket cases. That's a wrap in sports. Big D, back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. 23 past the hour. Let's do some news. Rick Delgado's got it. News is brought to you by our friends at Eternal Lifecoin, eternallifecoin.com. Check it out. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. Delgado, what's going on?
All right. Well, I don't know if you caught this story. Around 80 agitators were taken into custody so far. Today, sources said just hours after a large group of activists, a mob of masked activists, anti-Israeli protesters, you're talking about the Portnoy story there, stormed Columbia University's Butler Library earlier today, with the chaos injuring at least 2 school safety officers and later sparking dozens of arrests. Officials and law enforcement officials said. The funny part is, if there's a funny part, is once they stormed the library, they were stuck inside the library because they got locked into the library until
now
the police
you
could get
can't
there.
leave.
Right.
It reminds me of Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Bronxdale.
Right. So there you have it. It kind of just speaks to what we're dealing with in terms of the stupidity of the left and of course, their dumb protesters and demonstrators. And another reason why Harry Enton has to point out how Trump is doing, when you talk about stuff like this, we're talking about crime. Here he is, cut number 1. Harry Enton's got another poll for you, Damon. I know how you like Harry's polls. Here it is, cut number 1. Check it out.
All right, net approval rating handling crime. What do we have here? We have a positive rating for Donald Trump, even in the most recent polling. Look at that, at plus 2 points. Far better than Joe Biden, who was so far underwater. My goodness, he was setting records at minus 26 points. You rarely ever see it. So Donald Trump ran in part on law and order. It was one of the reasons that he got elected. And at this particular point, Americans like what they're hearing from him on the issue of crime. And you see this right here with a plus 2 net approval rating, far better than Joe Biden left office with back in 2024.
Yeah, so there you have it.
Boy, he's got to get canned soon.
Imagine the emails they must get about him.
I was just sitting here thinking, man, this guy still has a job.
Wow, the emails. Got to be crazy.
Crazy. So there you have it. Trump doing well when it comes to crime. When you kind of put him up against Joe Biden. I don't know if you saw Joe Biden was doing a...
good Lord. Did you have any crazy
to.
town with
Do you
with
have
Biden?
a Joe Biden crazy town with his BBC interview?
No, he gave an interview?
Oh, yeah. Yes, he did.
There was enough crazy town to cover us for a month.
You might want to take a look at it.
Oh, man.
For tomorrow because,
cut it up, Big D.
Joe came out looking as good as he normally does when he talks to the press. Yeah. Terrible.
I'll have to check that out. I did not see it.
We may have a crazy
Joe
town before the end of the show.
I'm sorry.
Hey, who can we book?
I'm sorry I missed the Carney Trump interview last night, boy.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday. We're back right after this.
Dow got crushed today?
I want to thank Michael.
No, I don't think so.
Why is he saying that?
I was teasing.
As he always says.
Michael from YouTube.
What's his
$20.
Today
Big D.
was
Thank you, Michael. Super
Today
chat.
was FOMC day.
Everything was up.
So Powell was out, but I think the market ended up. Yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Didn't get crushed.
It was up 284.
He said it was a disaster.
Oh, I just being a wise ass. Me. Being a wise guy.
And crypto was up today, too. Bitcoin.
He left rates unchanged, Powell, and was asked about it. And someone asked him, how does the president's opinion of you weigh into your decision? He went, not at all.
Which I highly doubt, but I wouldn't be surprised. If he could destroy the economy under Trump, he would do it and just laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do I got to get up?
Oh, in person? The guest is?
He just said, "Is the gut
here?" Meaning this segment coming up. Here.
Oh, I thought you meant here in the studio.
Oh, okay.
No.
Let's just say that would be interesting.
Okay.
I would have just.
Chat. What's going on in the chat? Powell said to have a little patience. Well, Powell sees the numbers. Powell is clearly worried that people are going to start really making changes in how they purchase things because they're going to have in their mind that inflation is going to be here with us for forever, and it's going to change their buying habits. And once it gets ingrained like that, that's when we have real problems. So that's what he doesn't want. Gary Haas on X, what's going on? Dave Syverson, Damon, it's brutal in here? I don't know what that means. In here, what? The chat on X? Why is the feed so choppy on Rumble but not on Rav? I have no idea.
Ken B412 has a dollar rant in the Rumble chat. Steelers trade George Pickens to Cowboys there, Slick.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I saw that. It's hard to bring up transactions, too many transactions on the show, but I did. I got a text at 7 in the morning. We're getting pickings from one of my hardcore Cowboy fans. I think he sleeps with the Cowboys going on in his ear all night.
There was a $20 super chat. Did you see that?
I got that. Yeah, I announced it.
I'm sorry.
Michael.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Wednesday night all across the country and, of course, across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio, Long Island, New York. Glad you're in. Slick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's doing the news. Paul Nolan's got some news coming up as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Lots more to get to, and of course, we'll get to your feelings in the chat. Make sure you follow us on all our social media at LFS6B everywhere except for Instagram at LFS6B Show. Speaking of social media, Dr. Kimberly Olson is the creator of Goal Digger Girl Co. That's goal like go Goal, Goal Digger Girl Co., where she serves female entrepreneurs by teaching them simple systems and online strategies in sales and marketing. Please welcome her to the show right now. Dr. Olson, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good. It's nice to have you on. In the age of social media here and women entrepreneurs, there's lots to talk about. You've been kind of called a social media mogul. How did you go from, let's say, when you started and what people would maybe consider like the bottom to building this huge multi-million-dollar business that you've built?
Well, I actually struggled for a really long time. I started online in 2011 and wanted to be a YouTube star and had a blog. And I really didn't know how to build a personal brand. So I would just post content and videos, and it was all around fitness and nutrition. And in 2017, I actually started learning about social media and started learning about branding. And the biggest piece in the change for me was working on my mindset. You've heard mindset over mechanics. It's totally true. People always want to know, how to get your reels to go viral and things like that. But it really comes down to your belief and how you see yourself. And I did just so much work on my self-identity and how I saw myself in the world, and started seeing myself as somebody who had value to offer, that I was worthy for success and having money. And so the shift started happening in 2017, started going live on social media, started a Facebook group, and people started asking me to teach them to do what I was doing. And I did. I just started coaching people on the way to work in the car, and it grew from there. So I launched my coaching company that spring, and we're coming up on $10 million in revenue since then, and have done everything right on social media.
Yeah. When you think about women and women entrepreneurs in the day of social media, and of course, there's obviously, there's some downsides to social media too, and obviously on the side of these girls sometimes feeling like they need to exploit themselves on social media to make money, and there's that side of it too. But when you think of social media and you think of women entrepreneurs and you think of, I think it's fair to ask, are there still barriers in this day and age for women to get into social media and create financial independence? And if so, what would they be?
I think the biggest barriers are themselves. It really, I think that what I've noticed working with women is they really struggle with just being themselves, being vulnerable, being authentic. And with this economy, I call it a relationship economy. You have to be able to connect with people through social media. I also noticed that they're really afraid of what other people think about them. So they'll hesitate to put themselves out there, to be able to even be an entrepreneur and start a business and have a brand. And so because of that, I think that, this decade, we're going to see a transfer of wealth. I think we're going to see more female entrepreneurs out there for sure. I think the opportunity to be able to build a business, even if it's just a side hustle, they're starting it in their spare time and want it to grow into something bigger, the tools are there at our fingertips, right? YouTube, podcasting, online courses. I mean, there really isn't any reason somebody couldn't start a business if they wanted to, as long as they got out of their own way. That's what I think. Yeah,
and there's a lot of women watching tonight, and there's a lot of young girls, I'm sure young women watching as well. When you think about where you started and where a young female entrepreneur would start today, when they think about thinking this as the mindset part is probably, like you said, one of the biggest hurdles, that you could actually see yourself doing this as a business. I may be able to monetize my story, myself. That's probably the first hurdle. But where do you advise somebody watching after maybe they get past that? Where's the first place they start?
Well, actually, I think that women will have struggle and they'll think, oh, gosh, I just see myself on stage, right? They have this grandiose idea. And I always say to them, you've got to start with a virtual stage. You've got to be able to go live and share value. You have to learn how to build up the know, like, and trust factor to educate your audience. You don't want those vanity metrics. You want real people engaging with your content, enjoying what you have. So what I would recommend is not thinking about something that you could sell and make money, because you'll burn out, right? Or you'll do the stop, go, and be inconsistent. Instead, I would focus on something that you find either you're an expert in or you are very passionate about. So maybe you're reading books or listening to podcasts or going to events. What's something you're obsessed with? Or maybe something that you notice other people tell you you're really good at. Man, you'd be surprised the things that people can monetize. And so if you can lean into that and find a real need in the marketplace paired with something that you're really passionate about, that together, I think, is definitely an opportunity for somebody to look at monetizing their brand.
Yeah. In reading some of the notes leading up to having you on the show, which I really appreciate you giving us a few moments because I think this is important stuff. You've had some real downtime in your life. Back in 2000, you've been sober since 2017, so congratulations on that. And I'm sure your experience on that is one day at a time. Like, I just want to be sober today, and then I want to be sober the next day, and then all of a sudden that turns into 8 years, and here you are 8 years later. How has getting sober impacted your business? And what message do you have for males or females out there who might be feeling like they've kind of lost control of themselves maybe?
Yeah, and it can be different things, right? It can be prescription drugs, it can be food. There's all kinds of things happening out there. And so the biggest indicator that you have a problem, in my opinion, that's stopping your success is if you suspect that you're self-sabotaging. And when I did struggle with that for over a decade. And what would happen is I would start getting some traction in my business, or maybe being on a good health journey, and I would just self-sabotage and backpedal. And it got to a point where at that time, my daughters were 1 and 2. I could see this opportunity to change my family tree, because I did grow up in poverty, and I could see it right in front of me. And it was this moment to say, this is your chance. And if you don't enlist professional support, because that's what I needed to do, you're just going to keep self-sabotaging. So I would say if somebody feels like they feel as if they are lost or they're not fulfilled, maybe see, are there some vices in their lives? Because it was one day at a time to start with, but now my life is so full and I'm just so grateful. I would never go back in a million years before, pre 2017. So I would just take a look at that, because what's on the other side of it is like really your true potential. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but it really is pretty amazing.
Yeah. When you think about the work you're doing, you're raising a family, obviously, and I know you talk about aligned success and things that you work towards, things that are obviously not only fuel you, but obviously you can support your family. Talk a little bit about kind of that legacy that you're trying to build, and then what you're doing to help others who want to start doing the same.
Well, I think with this world, I think that it can be easy to be cynical. And so I guess I am more Pollyanna, and I do see the glass half full. This is what I think. I think if we can change ourselves first, and then of course we're going to show up differently as a wife, as a mom, as a boss. And in our community, right, that's going to impact our family. And then in our community, we're impacting in that way because our family is more solid. My kids, the way they interact with others is different, and my husband. So now the community is impacted. And if we can have that ripple effect, now those communities are impacting even more of a global perspective. So when it comes to legacy, I just always think about, one day is going to be my last day here. And what am I going to leave behind me? What am I going to do to make this world a better place than it was when I came? And imagine if, I know, again, it sounds just so altruistic, but imagine if we all did that. I really do believe that we could actually make a huge change in our lifetime.
Yeah, I totally agree. Thank you very much for appearing on the show, Dr. Kimberly Olson. You can check her out at thegoaldiggergirl.com, thegoaldiggergirl.com, and that's goal, like set your goals, GOAL. Thank you so much for giving us a few moments tonight.
Thank you.
All right, there you go, Dr. Kimberly Olson on some really important stuff. And I worked with Dr. Olson on another project, and I heard her talk, and I thought, man, that's some good stuff. And she's obviously smart, and she's built an absolute monster business. And, you know, I have a daughter who looks at social media, and she's actually asked some questions. Dad, could I do this for a living? Like, how do I, you know, and there's a lot of dangers out there, and you try to tell them about the dangers, but there's a lot of positives our kids these days are going to grow up with and tools they have at their fingertips that we just didn't have, you know? So, all right, 39 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Paul Nolan is here. Let's do some news. Mr. Nolan, what are some of the headlines that have caught your attention?
If I identify as a woman, would it be okay if she helps me because I'm a social media disaster?
Yeah, you are.
Every time I ask Damon for help, he's like, "You stink." So, did you guys see Tim Burchett 2 days ago? Did you guys play that clip?
No.
Watch Tim Burchett dealing with this little smug, little stink-nosed punk. Put that roll for me there, Aaron.
Do you trust Trump's national security team to keep our war plans top secret?
Do you trust your mother every night to fix your Hot Pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on?
Yeah. We actually played that clip from a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
actually,
you did? I'm sorry, guys.
Man. But you can play it every day and still get the same joy out of it.
Oh, I apologize. It's so good.
So good.
So good. So, since we don't have a lot of time to talk about what's going on in India and Pakistan, I have a couple of interesting clips. I saw, if you mind if I have some fun with this right now? Because this clip I saw just cracked me up with the cop, Aaron, the one with the cop catching that woman with the arrest warrant. Can you play that just for the fun?
How are we doing today? I'm Officer Brandon, Springfield Township Police Department.
Okay, stop it, Josh. How are you?
So the reason I stopped you is you are suspended with a warrant for your arrest.
I am?
So do me a favor, turn off the car, put the keys up on the dash, detain you for that warrant, and because you are suspended actively. Oh. Hey.
What?
Come here.
Hello?
The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my God.
Her meth pipe. He's playing with the meth pipe right now.
Why is there a raccoon?
No, don't reach for it. That's evidence now.
Oh, I don't want him to have
that. That's why I'm going to do it.
Still keep on it. All right, Aaron, that's good enough.
That's wacky raccoon.
What even is that?
What happened there?
Wow. The cop was just so good at what he was doing there. I just thought that was when I saw him. This is what we're dealing with in the middle of America sometimes. So I just wanted to say that I found that cop to be just hysterical, the way he's laughing at the raccoon with their meth pipe. You're arrested. You have an arrest warrant. All right. So anyway, don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, don't do drugs, kids.
Just don't do them. That's why the first hit is free, because this way they get you hooked and then you're the customer for life. So we didn't have a lot of time for news, so I figured I'd play a couple of those clips there. So, but I do want to talk about what's going on in India and Pakistan. Did you guys cover that last night?
No, we did not. What's going on there? Give us a quick preview of what you want to talk about.
Pakistanis murdered and a terrorist group killed 26 Indian men, let the women who were with them survive. And then, India has basically bombed Pakistan, killing 30-something people, wounding another 50-something. And tensions are escalating, and this is all tied into the trade wars, in my opinion. This has ties to Russia, ties to China, and proxy wars, and I think it is bigger than we realize here in the States.
All right, 17 till the hour, live from Studio 6B. More to do on a Wednesday night. We're back right after this.
He could just power through, without getting.
But he was clearly stopped, right? I mean, so I don't know.
James O'Keefe from I guess it was 3 hours ago. Prince Andrew. So it was about Prince Andrew.
Yeah, you said Prince William by mistake.
That's what I meant. Yeah, Prince Andrew.
But I feel like we already knew about Prince Andrew.
Yeah, we know a lot
That's what I said.
about him. So this is what all the drama was about, someone we knew about?
Maybe it's the start of something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope something comes out of it all.
Just
because
waiting for the new pope with the smoke screens. You know? Wait a minute, hold on.
Pope.
Let's see. It's the same type of thing, you know? Sending up smoke signals here.
Yeah.
Give us the goods. They're trying to pick the pope. They still haven't done that
I could
yet.
be Pope.
Donald Trump.
I'd be my first pick.
I think I saw a pump at the Vatican. I think he just landed in Rome.
I like the orange smoke memes. It's so funny.
See that? That's beautiful.
People
I love
are freaking out.
That's a great one. I love it. Any chemtrail memes? That's so funny.
I'm thinking about painting my beard. What do you guys think in the chat? Do I start spray painting this thing like for $99 by Earl Scheib? I can take the white out maybe.
Why do you want to paint your beard?
What's that?
Why do you want to paint your beard?
I don't know. Just because I thought all the cool kids were doing it.
I just want to look younger when you paint.
No, I can't do that. It matched my wrinkles perfectly.
Problem with George Pickens, he's ahead of case. Then again, a lot of these receivers are divas.
Chat in the chat. Checking the rumbles. Drake 99 is in there. MAGA Patriot 63. Wheezy Cat. J&J Mama. RD Bull, always in there. Ordinary Passenger. My
RD Bull is
closed.
always in there.
There we go. Let's see. Kicking Snow. Drake 99. Susie 321. Two Guns 59.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice, and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. So Politico tonight reports that Trump's big announcement that he teased yesterday is related to Medicare. Politico is reporting that President Trump's big announcement, which he teased this week, may relate to Medicare prescription drug prices. And here's what they write. President Donald Trump's plan to revive an effort to dramatically slash drug costs by tying the amount the government pays for some medicines to lower prices abroad. Three people familiar with the matter told Politico. Trump early next week is expected to sign an executive order directing aides to pursue the initiative called Most Favored Nation status. We've heard the president talk about this quite a bit. For a selection of drugs within the Medicare program. The idea would use the administration's authorities to force prices down. The proposal has not been finalized and could still change as aides work through the specifics, said the people involved in the plan, who were granted anonymity to describe internal deliberations. Trump has not yet personally approved the plan. The president on Tuesday teased a very, very big announcement before he leaves for overseas within the next week that one of the people familiar characterized as a reference to the drug pricing proposal. The other two did not know whether it was the big announcement, but confirmed that the drug price plan was likely to be announced in the next week. We're going to have a very big announcement to make, like as big as it gets, Trump said. It'll be one of the most important announcements that have ever been made in many years about a certain subject. Should Trump go ahead with the order, it would represent a major confrontation between the White House and the deep-pocketed pharmaceutical industry. This would be a big deal, and it kind of makes sense given how Trump wants to even things out for America. In this case, he's likely wanting the pharmaceutical industry to be more fair to the American people and to stop overcharging us, especially as it relates to older Americans on Medicare. It'll certainly be interesting to see if this is indeed the big announcement or if it is something else entirely. And it makes a lot of sense to me that this is what it could be, Delgado. What do you think?
I think that kind of makes sense. That is kind of a big deal for a lot of people, Medicare and Medicaid and drug prices. And we've seen how, the drugs that you get here in this country, you have to pay a lot more than you would in other countries, right?
Yep. I don't know why we're not making them here.
Well, hopefully that'll change.
Yeah, well, why are we not making drugs here? I just don't get it.
The other thing I want to touch on is the last couple of days I've been railing on Tom Tillis and people in the Republican Party of his ilk. And one of the names I left out, as I talked about Collins, Murkowski, Tillis, and, of course, the worst of the worst ever, of course, is McConnell. But there's another one who should be right up there in the worst of the worst list when it comes to, and that, unfortunately, is from the red state of Oklahoma, and that's Senator James Lankford. He should be right up there, and he proved again today why he should be. Here he is on CNN today.
What's been confusing on this is some people see due process like as an American citizen. That's a right to a jury trial. That's all those different things. That's not true for due process for someone who's not a citizen of the United States. It's a different process. It's often just literally what people call an immigration judge is not a typical federal judge or a state judge. This is someone that's in the bureaucracy, that their task for DHS is that task on it. So they're a government employee career. That's an immigration judge. So it's a very different process for it. But yes, there's a need to be able to give an opportunity for someone to be able to make an argument before they're removed in the country. It's just
Okay, so 12 to 15 million people have to have an ability to be able to be heard, even from the different process, James Lankford says. And this is a guy who would have been okay, if you remember, on the immigration bill under Biden, he would have been okay codifying into law, I think, 5 million a year forever in perpetuity. He was just fine with that. And here he is now again today saying, well, for the 12 or 15 million people that Biden just let waltz right in here, oh, no, we can't get rid of them before they have at least some avenue to have in front of a judge, even if it's a shorter process. Okay, good luck with that. So add him to the list of perpetual losers. How about that? Of this party who think like this. They don't talk out. It's amazing they don't talk out like this when it's happening the other way, when they're coming here. You don't ever see them running to CNN. You don't see the op-eds. You don't see any of this. It's only when our guys get in and try to get rid of them. Yeah. All of a sudden, they got to run, do interviews, write op-eds, tell us what they think, remind us what they think every day. We don't care what you think. If we cared what you think, Trump probably wouldn't have won. If the American people were where you are, we're not where you are. We're with him. That's what we voted for. So this is just another guy who just does, I mean, I talked to him the color of my shirt until I'm blue in the face. I just don't know what to say about these people that we keep electing and then re-electing and then endorsing. I just don't get it. We have got to get rid of these people and the way they think. And by the way, I don't even think he's correct, as I keep bringing up this Supreme Court case from 58. But there you go. Just another Republican who really thinking outside the box.
That's very generous. Republican? Okay. Yeah, 10 million cases. We'll just put them all in front of judges.
Right. And I'm sure he's going to be using that as one of his campaign stump speeches when he goes out to try to get reelected. Be like, oh, no, let's make sure all the illegals that are terrorizing everybody throughout the country, let's make sure they get to see a judge. I don't care how long it takes.
It's just to me like to die on the hill of anybody with a criminal record needs to have full due process. Enough's enough already.
Yeah.
How many people have to die? How many people have to be raped? How many acts of violence? How much drugs have to be moved? If you're a criminal, just go. Let us lead. At least if you want to make a case for someone who started a business, 18 employees, model citizen, all right, maybe. You're going to evict someone who's been here for 12 years and they're here. Okay, maybe I'll listen to you. I can't even listen to this. I mean, these are whatever. It's pointless.
All right, let's do some quick sports here before we wrap up hour one. What even is that coming up at the top of the hour? Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, Tom Brady admits he bleeped up by doing Netflix roast. Tough on my kids.
I watched this interview today.
Yeah, so, they are protective of their mom, of their dad, of everybody. This is Ryan Morick of Fox News. You know, it's tough when kids are in the public eye with their families. Tom Brady has said he would not do another roast, and for good reason. Last year, Netflix ran a special where some of Brady's inner football circle and some of the world's best comedians roasted him. But naturally, several jokes were made about his highly publicized divorce from Gisele Bündchen. This was Brady again expressed regret while appearing on Logan's broadcast. It was tough on my kids for sure, Brady admitted. I went in there, you don't know what to expect. I love laughing at myself. It felt like I was in the locker room. And the harder people go at me, I'll actually love it. If people make fun of you, then I'll know that I'm good with them. I don't take myself too serious, but I do understand for my kids, it was really hard. Brady added that he bleeped up. We're not perfect parents. You'll see as you grow up, there's no perfect manual for it. You got to evaluate yourself as a parent too, all the time, he said. Even though I enjoy the show, the performances were incredible. When you were in that moment in the theater, that night at the Forum, it was electric. It was crazy. We got done. Everybody was on cloud nine. I think that moment I'll never forget. And then I'll never forget when I talked to my kids the next day. I felt a stake through my heart. Understandably, they are protective of their mom, of their dad, of everybody. They're like, what was the point of that? Why did you do that? You live and you learn. A source told Entertainment Tonight at the time that Gisele was upset and hurt by some of the jokes about her, as well as her new relationship with Joaquim Valente. Was that Sergio Valente's son? No. Who is her jiu-jitsu instructor. She found some of the jokes to be distasteful and disrespectful, the source said. Soccer great David Beckham even admitted that he sent Brady a message to check in on him after the toast, showing that Bündchen wasn't the only one who thought the jokes were harsh. So, Tom Brady, that was a tough one, huh?
Wow.
You gotta know what you're getting yourself into,
it's
right?
It's a roast.
Yeah, it's your kids, though. You know, that's the thing.
It's a roast.
I know.
The kids will learn how to get ball breaking into their system.
All right, live from Studio 6B. Hour to Long Island. What even is that? Kicks it off. We're back right after this.
Long Island.
Knicks just standing around.
Oh, there's another team. You know, that was a big win. That's what happens. You play them at house money. They think they're playing at house money. That's how you act. I'm gonna get to the chat. Where's the chat?
Chat. What's going on
Come on
in the chat? They don't do the
chat.
Dean roast anymore. It gets way too personal.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why Brady was upset. You know, his kids are young. They have no idea. They don't understand comedy.
They asked him, why'd you do it?
I mean, what he probably should have done is probably set better parameters for what was off limits and what was not.
Right. He could have said, look, I just went through a divorce. Stay off, the wife jokes.
I got to be honest with you. The only jokes I thought was when they kind of went a little towards the kids, right? Weren't there a couple backhanded jokes towards the kids a little bit?
No one said anything to or about the kids in the joke, but obviously about the mom and dad.
Yeah, I thought there was one that kind of linked the mom.
No, he said that, and he said lay off the crafts too. Those are the two things he said: the kids and the crafts. But he didn't say the wife, the former wife, which he probably should have.
All right, Staff Sergeant Arby, how you doing tonight in the YouTube chat, my man?
And again, maybe he didn't want to lay off the wife.
Moon Pie,
maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
He just wasn't expecting.
I got no dog in that race.
Perez.
I could care less about
Skeet Man on the Rumble. What's going on?
Wow. Did we touch on the Surgeon General yet? The appointment of that?
No, not yet.
My wife called me about that. She was so excited. She liked apparently whoever the person that they chose.
Yeah, another person attached to Mike Waltz that has problems.
Yeah.
So Mike Waltz wasn't fired. He was severely demoted to like a know-nothing position, essentially.
No, he's the ambassador to the UN.
Yeah, which is essentially an embarrassment by comparison to where he was. That's a nothing job.
UN, yeah.
It's a nothing job now.
It's like a sergeant at arms. That's what basically.
To me, that's just another sign that Trump's just pushing neocons out. Anybody with bad advice, he's saying beat it.
Oof, airball. Oh, what even is that? Oh, come on.
Where the clock at?
Apparently, we're going to be clocking out after we do this.
Hour 2 live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in, everybody. Slick's going to do some sports. Slick Rick, he'll have more sports coming up. Rick Delgado's got the news in Hour 2. Paul Nolan's going to have some more stories in Hour 2 as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Miranda Devine today over in the New York Post, again jumping on the confirm Ed Martin to take on the swamp. And, of course, we have Tom Tillis, who we've been speaking about for 2 weeks. She has a good piece today in the New York Post about it. If I have time, I'll get to Daniel Horowitz today in the Blaze. Reconciliation or capitulation? Which one is it going to be? Trump's final go-for-broke play on reconciliation with the Republicans. If I have some time, I'll get to that as well. What's going on in the State House down in Florida as Republicans work with Democrats to make Florida purple again. We've talked a little bit about this. We'll talk more about it because it should be, if it can happen there, we're already having enough problems making red states red, so we'll get to that. But right now, it's time for one of my new favorite segments here on the show, and that, of course, is Rick Delgado with What Even Is That?
All right. Well, thank you, Damon.
You're welcome, Rick.
I appreciate it. Well, now that our first live show in front of a studio audience is in the bag, as they say.
Yeah. And look at the crowd here tonight. They are fired up.
Look at that crowd.
And they are ready to go.
Yes. That means we can start to get back to some sort of regular schedule, and that means this.
What the hell is even that?
Exactly. Now, usually I stick to stuff, that catches my attention. That's kind of out there in the news. Things that kind of make you go,
Yeah.
Like the Democrats and their weird new obsession that includes violence.
Yeah.
Yes. This is fun, isn't it? Look at that.
Okay.
Don't forget, go get your car, buddy.
There's the Bahuki rub. There's the Bahuki.
Yeah, there's the Bahuki rub.
And even weirder has to do with their other weird obsession, which is now singing.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
It's a snappy tune.
Where's Bon Iver when you need him?
Bon Iver. Let it shine.
Yeah. So you've got that, but for this one, I thought it might be more appropriate to turn our attention to us, or more precisely, yours truly, and that would be me.
Okay.
For something I did here on the show just a few short weeks ago. Now I know what you're thinking, right?
What's that? We're thinking silence?
Aliens and probes. Exactly what could I have done, Damon, that is so wrong? I mean, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this story here. Right?
Okay.
On April 17th of 2025, when it was just me, Slick, Vin, and KDJ in studio. Of course, as Damon took the night off, to get his feet ready for the summer.
That's not what I was doing at all.
That's not Damon. It's not using a chainsaw.
Of course, whenever Big D is out, we always try to make sure we deliver a quality show because that's what you,
I got the point,
the best audience in TV, all deserve. So you can imagine my dismay, Damon, when the next day after the show I was treated to the alarming news that there were a ton of emails. Yes, ton of emails.
Yep.
And they were not all the emails of praise and adulation for the show that we had just delivered.
Oh, no, they were not.
Yes. As a matter of fact, it was quite the opposite. Yes, prompting a Damon face. For this being the gist of what these emails were saying was this.
He stinks, and I don't like him.
Yeah. After that, they did not like me. Now,
wish
normally,
they were that nice.
Now, normally, some people who usually, the pink-haired, pearl-clutching, sky-screaming Democrat loser types would react when they hear words or see things that they find offensive like this. Yes, but not yours truly. Not yours truly. No, not me.
Be offended.
Right. You see, because I love our audience, Damon.
Okay.
And I welcome the input of them. As of course, if we've crossed a line on a particular story or subject matter, that is because I see myself, Damon, as a reflection of you, the audience.
Okay.
So it pained me, Damon, when you told me about the backlash I was getting about playing the video of the Russian woman who fell out of the sixth-story window in Russia.
Here we go.
Right?
Oh, my God.
Yes, Rick.
Man, I know how we bounce back from that.
He's going to play it again, isn't he?
This segment from the show, which we will play now, but not for gratuitous natures, but to play only to make a point about why I'm dismayed and confused about the backlash. Now, if you don't want to see this, you have about 5 seconds to look away, and then we'll play it. And you've been warned. According to Aaron, I guess this is what I should have did last time, right? Okay, so here we go. 3, 2, 1. Turn away and play the segment. Who knows? Maybe she did say something not so nice about President Putin, but obviously she wasn't high enough to kill her. Here's cut number 13. Check this out.
Oh, wow.
Luckily, she landed on top of that car. Not for the car, but for her. As you can see, she's still alive. I don't even know what you're talking about. Now, Erin's in my ear yelling at me. But she lived. And there you have it. And what did I say after the video played? And you all heard it. After everybody recoiled, what did I say? What was it? But she lived. Right?
Right.
I mean, what even is that? Why are you all so upset? It's right here in the headline. A woman, 80 years old, falls from a 6-story window but survives unscathed. Yeah! Exactly. This should be celebrated as a victory for all man and womankind, Damon. A win against gravity.
A win against gravity?
Against gravity, yes. And let's face it.
He's shouting it from the rooftops.
And let's face it, usually when a woman has a fight with gravity, the outcome more often than not, is not something we'd much rather look at. And well, until this lady, gravity was undefeated. Yes, believe me. Normally, people, you wouldn't get this upset with me if the woman who used the Hyundai as a landing pad happened to look like this, or if she looked like this.
She landed face first.
Or maybe if she happened to look like this.
Wow.
And plus, this is Russia. Usually when somebody falls out of a window, Paul, in Russia, it's because they said something bad about this guy.
Yeah.
And when you open your mouth, that's when they open the window. Usually from the 10th floor. Right? So spare me the tears and save them for a truly horrific news story that we actually get wrong. But until that day comes, we continue to celebrate the continued life of the 80-year-old babushka. That's Russian for grandma, Damon. Now, be careful cleaning your windows. And, Damon?
Hans Gruber.
Back to you.
Big D, could you put his email address Humorous on the screen.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
What?
Exactly.
Come on.
I mean, I don't
send
know,
your complaints
Delgado.
to-
I mean, that's just gratuitous. It's exactly what you said it wouldn't be. It's just
Yeah, it was.
gratuitous.
But it was blotted out.
It's just the whole thing is gratuitous.
And she lived.
Damon is gonna.
I'm a glass half full kind of guy, Damon.
No, I know you are, but it's just, I mean, it's just I don't know.
I did blur it out this time.
Yes, thank you, Aaron.
That is because I actually saw it before we put it on air
At
this
least
time.
someone here has any common sense.
You're
Talk
welcome,
about
America.
steering into your mistakes.
Yes.
That's what I should have did when I dropped the F-bomb. We were talking about 9/11. I should have just did a what even is that about that, because that one, that's why everyone thought I was in your trunk.
Well, all right, there you go. What even is that tonight? They're all going to be home runs. You know, what can you do? So 9 minutes past the hour.
What do you mean?
Live from Studio 6B.
She stuck the landing.
Yeah, well.
He thinks it was a hit.
At the beginning of the night, Damon, I was asking everybody to make his what even is that go viral. Maybe not this one. Let's save it.
Let's rethink that, Paul. Maybe
We'll try again next week.
Maybe the go viral thing should start next week.
All right.
Let's steer clear of it.
417 Raiders says disappointed.
Yeah, see?
Oh man.
So
there you go.
Greater Googly Moogly says hilarious, Rick. Good
Well, there
job.
you go.
So
I
you have
liked it.
both sides of the. You have both sides. Well, somebody
Yes.
put on the suit, of course, says yawn.
Let's see.
okay.
John
Someone
D.
wrote that was more of a
6307
flop.
says, we need a T-shirt that says, and she lived. That could be the T-shirt.
No, we do not.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
No.
Aaron, get on it.
Delgado would be producing that out of his own basement.
Starting his own show.
Yeah. Miranda Devine today in the New York Post confirm Ed Martin to take on the swamp. And she says Tillis doesn't even have a plausible reason, telling reporters that his difference with Martin is over the January 6th, 2021 Capitol riot. Martin believes that some J6ers were unfairly and over-prosecuted. Duh. And Tillis believes they all should have been jailed for absolutely destroying the Capitol, quote unquote, which, of course, as we know, did not happen. And since then, Trump has pardoned all the J6ers. Tillis' objection is absurd in every single way imaginable. How come the North Carolina senator had no problem waving through Joe Biden's various activist picks? Anthony Blinken, for one. Merrick Garland, for two. Lisa Monaco, for three. Matthew Graves, for four. We're all involved in protecting Hunter Biden. They were all involved with lawfare against President Trump and all the operations we saw. Did you ever see Tom Tillis come out and so strongly talk about any of those? Of course not. Perhaps the real reason for Tillis' destructive decision is that as an acting U.S. attorney, Ed Martin has proved too aggressive in pursuing deep state wrongdoers for his liking. And maybe that's exactly what it is. For instance, Ed Martin is questioning the Wikipedia Foundation, a.k.a. Wikipedia, on whether its propaganda activities violate its nonprofit status in D.C. By the way, Ed Martin has pressured them so much that they actually have responded in a way that Ed Martin tonight, I believe, tweeted, I'm happy to see Wikipedia trying to clean things up, but I'm still not happy with the answers I'm getting. In a letter to the biased online encyclopedia last month, he suggested that Wikipedia is allowing foreign actors to manipulate information and spread propaganda to the American public, including the rewriting of key historical events and biographical information of current and previous American leaders, as well as other matters implicating the national security and other interests of the United States. So Miranda Devine, with everybody else, knows that Tom Tillis is a gold-plated, empty suit phony whose reason for standing in the way of Ed Martin is quite ridiculous. All right, live from Studio 6B, more to do, more sports, more news with Paul Nolan, plus our friend Andy Manion will join us at the bottom of the hour from AMAC, all coming up.
pressure's got to be squarely on their shoulders at this moment.
They're going to be squeezing that ball real tight. Oof. Man.
No.
Yeah,
Why?
Like hockey, the dreaded 2-goal lead, you know?
Yep.
I talked to Harry on the highway about it today. We're going to figure out a plan.
Did Utah Hockey Club take the name the Mammoths? Oh, my God.
Wait, what?
Utah Hockey Club, they took the name the Mammoths.
The Utah Mammoths? That's what they're going to be called?
Yeah.
Yeah, the preliminary stuff on that came out a couple months ago.
What's that?
They released preliminary artwork in that name a few months ago.
Mammoths.
The Yeti.
The Yeti? Really?
Yeah.
Yeti? Well, that could have
I thought you were joking.
I think the Utah Yeti would
sounds
sound
way better.
And
Definitely.
not just that. Think about the built-in advertisement. Right?
Yeah. You're going to have the guy running around the stadium, then hit the ice.
I like that name better.
Yetis.
2-point game. It's about to be a 1-point game.
This is unbelievable.
Okay. What do I got
He might
here?
miss one. He might shank one.
So I got one clip. It was
off the
kind
heel,
of
Rick.
interesting.
He's going to shank this one right off the heel. Watch this.
Do it at the last segment.
Oh, almost. Look at that. 1 point. This is crazy. Tatum's like, that's it. I'm shooting the rest of the game. It's over. I can't believe how Boston just. I mean, well, you got to say, take your hat off to the Knicks, man.
You got a couple super chats.
Oh, my God. The Knicks are back to 1?
Yeah, I just said there.
And they have possession.
They were down 20.
You weren't listening. I kept telling you they've just come back.
They were down 20 twice.
Oh, my God.
All right. Yep, Drag Black is super chat. Get that one. I missed the other one.
I mean, you can't play better defense than that.
I'm going to tell you right now.
You can't play better defense.
10,000 chances of that shot, I might get it once.
What happened to 2 a.m. Naked Hammer Fight Club? Delgado said he was never letting that go. Just Photoshop Damon over the woman and it'll be fine. $5.
Photoshop me falling from the building? That's what they want to see?
Just
No, not
Photoshop
falling
Damon
from the
over the
building.
woman and it'll be fine.
The woman that fell, right?
Right, but the picture of her from
picture
the
of
news
her, yeah.
article.
All right, sound like the blues on a Wednesday, 17 past the hour. Let's be honest, we're not getting any younger. And if you want to look and feel your best, you need to check out Pure Health Research. They have 45 premium health supplements designed to help you with every health goal that you might have, whether it's boosting your energy, trimming belly fat, supporting healthy blood sugar, pumping your testosterone up, or even reducing swelling in your legs. Pure Health Research Supplement Store has you covered. Each formula is crafted with natural, non-GMO ingredients backed by clinical research and manufactured right here in the good old US of A. And here's the best part. Pure Health Research is offering you an exclusive 35% discount. Go right now to purehealthresearch.com. Use coupon code 6B at checkout. Real simple, just 2 letters, 6B, 1 number, 1 letter, 6B at checkout. You get a 35% discount with their 365-day money-back guarantee. There's 0 risk in trying something new. So why wait? Head over to purehealthresearch.com right now. Explore their 45 amazing supplements and save 35% before this deal ends with coupon code 6B. Don't miss the chance to feel your best. Use coupon code 6B, purehealthresearch.com. Well, this July, there's a global summit of BRICS nations in Rio de Janeiro. The bloc of emerging superpowers, including China, Russia, India, and Iran, are meeting with the goal of displacing the U.S. dollar as the global currency. They're calling this the Rio Reset. As BRICS nations push forward with their plans, global demand for the U.S. dollars will decrease, bringing down the value of your dollars in your savings. While this transition won't happen overnight, the Rio Reset in July marks a pivotal moment when the BRICS objectives move decisively from theoretical possibilities towards inevitable reality. Learn if diversifying your savings into gold could be right for you. Birch Gold Group can help you move your hard-earned savings into a tax-sheltered IRA in precious metals. Claim your free information kit on gold by texting America to the number 989898. Birch Gold has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Tens of thousands of happy customers. You can let Birch Gold arm you with a free, no-obligation information kit on owning gold before July and before the Rio reset. Text America right now to the number 989898 and get your, well, there it is right there on your screen. Your information kit, Birch Gold. Text America to 989898. Do it today. 19 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Andy Manion from AMAX is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Let's do some sports and some news. Slick, what's going on?
Big D, the Knicks have come back, and they now lead 89-88 with 24 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Knicks are looking to take a commanding 2-game lead on the road back to Madison Square Garden. This could be a major upset. Celtics had a good shot of really making a run to go all the way in the East, and wow, unbelievable. So East semifinals, game 2, Knicks up 1-0. Knicks up by 1 point, and well, the thrilling closing seconds are coming up as they're in timeout right now. Nuggets and Thunder waiting to take the court. That's at 9:30, game 2. Denver leading that series 1-0 and looking to do the same thing the Knicks did by taking 2 in OKC. Could it happen twice on one night? Sure could. NHL, to the ice we go. Great playoffs there. East second round, game 2. Toronto leading that series 1-0. And what do you know? Toronto's leading the game 4-3, up by 1 there. 13:54 to go in the third period. So plenty of time there for Florida to come bouncing back. And that would be the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, who also don't want to go down 2-0. And we got the Stars taking on the Jets up in Winnipeg, 9:30. A lot of folks like the Winnipeg Jets, including myself, to win it all this year. They'd be due. West second round, and this is game 1 to start that series. So, a lot of excitement going on there. Utah Hockey Club has come up with their name. They're going to be called the Mammoths. They had, according to Fran, they had a year-long contest there to come up with the team name, and they took the Mammoths. So, without getting into too much detail, I'm not crazy about that name, Paul. I don't know about you. You're a big hockey fan like myself. I don't know. We'll see what it does for them. Better than Utah Hockey Club, although that was kind of cool, the Hockey Club. I kind of like that.
Hockey Club was kind of cool.
That
had
was
a nice ring to it,
interim thing, but boy, I thought the Yeti was what they were going to go with.
The Yeti would have been great. Boy, talk about marketing, right, with those Yetis. And, well, Doge hearing on trans athletes in women's sports descended into chaos earlier today. Representative Nancy Mace suggested the USA fencing chair is not a man. This is Jackson Thompson of Fox News. Subcommittee on Delivering on Government Efficiency, Doge, Chairwoman Marjorie Taylor Greene got into screaming matches and a gavel-smashing marathon at Wednesday's hearing on protecting women's sports. The hearing on unfair play, keeping men out of women's sports, featured a signature rant by Representative Nancy Mace and Representative Latifah Simon, so I guess Simone, right, suggested that protecting women's sports will lead to bringing back racial segregation. I mean, just unbelievable. Mace hit Ross Graves with one of the oldest tricks in the book when she bluntly asked the witness, "What is a woman?" at the start of her rant. The question was met with rambling by Goss Graves about various categories of females based on how a person identifies. Mace kept cutting Goss Graves off while the witness was trying to respond before Mace began dishing out insults that included, "You sound like a lunatic," and repeated references of male genitalia. The two women then proceeded to loudly speak over each other for more than 2 straight minutes. Mace ended her first rant by calling Goss Graves and USA fencing chair Damian Ledfelt, who was subpoenaed to the hearing after his organization punished a woman for refusing to face a trans fencer. Shameful. You are all shameful, Mace said. You are groomers. Mace was ultimately granted extra time as Green interjected to prevent Goss Graves from interrupting Mace. So I'm sure this is a wild clip, Big D, what was going on down there. Very heated, obviously. Well, I'll follow up more on this tomorrow when I get a chance to see the clip, but I did want to get that out there in sports, Big D. So very contested men and women's sports there with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And that's a wrap in sports.
All right, 23 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's get in some news here before we have Andy Manion join us. Rick Delgado's got it. What's going on?
All right. Well, you were asking about Kash Patel being up on Capitol Hill today doing some testifying. And, well, lucky for us, he ran into Pennsylvania Representative Madeline Dean, who decided she was going to try to take the FBI director to task, and it didn't work out too well for her. Here she is, cut number 3, Pennsylvania Rep. Madeline Dina. She asked Cash about a weaponized FBI and what that might look like. Cut number 3, check this out.
As you and the president continue to weaponize and investigate his perceived enemies, as you follow this blueprint, when can I, a former impeachment manager, expect the FBI at my door?
Ma'am, you want to know who was targeted by a weaponized FBI? Me. You want to know how and why?
Well,
you want to know what I'm doing to fix it?
That. Let me move on.
Well, you should read the
topics.
book because there's no enemies list on that book.
So
there are
you-
people that violated their constitutional obligations and their duties to the American people,
good. You
and they
gave
were
them due
rightly
process.
called out.
I'm
and you
changing
should
topics.
give that book to every one of your constituents so they can read about it.
I won't be doing that.
He's great.
Just taking her to task. Kash Patel, FBI director, doing it there. He also had this to say to her. Cut number 4. Here she is when she asked Cash. You think she would have learned her lesson, but no, she went back for more. Here she asked Kash Patel about his memory. Check this out. Cut number 4.
Mr. Patel, my second question is, should we worry more about your memory or your veracity?
We should worry more about your lack of candor. You're accusing me of committing perjury. Tell the American people how I broke the law and committed a felony. Have the audacity to actually put the facts forward
the answer is
instead of
both.
lying for political banter so you can have a 20-second donation hit.
The answer is both. I believe that the
The
men
answer
and
is
women of
you're
the
failing, not
I
me.
reclaim my time.
Go ahead.
Yeah. She's
That
reclaiming her
woman
time.
has no business in a conversation with Kash Patel. None. That was an absolute intellectual mismatch. That was.
If you want to see a mismatch.
What's that?
If you want to see a mismatch, we have Maxine Waters talking to Scott Bessent later.
Oh, let's
if we
let
get
it
to
roll.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. I have to say, the one thing I was a little surprised at Cash today was that all of a sudden now he doesn't want to cut the FBI. Did you see the budget proposal from Trump? And did you see it? Did you see that?
Yeah, he's adding to it.
Yeah. Wonder how people feel about that. All right, 26 past the hour. Andy Manion from AMAC will join us when we get back. Plus, we'll do more news with Doug Otto and with Paul Nolan when we get back right after this. Live from Studio 6B. Knicks up 2-0 over the Celtics.
So you doing sports now?
They pull out a huge one at the Boston Garden.
Damon's a Knick fan again. Had that fadeaway. Damon had that fadeaway. I thought he had it. But when he went to his left, it was very
He
awkward.
should have taken the shot instead of trying to pass it out.
With like no time left. Look at that city. Look at that city.
I can't
Oh
believe
my
they-
God, Big D.
They haven't beaten that team in over a year.
Portnoy's got to be
You ready for the stat?
absolutely beside himself.
I just saw the stat. Teams that have won on the first 2 games on the road in NBA history have won the playoffs 95.7% of the time. Leave it to the Knicks.
And the Knicks are undefeated.
Leave it to the Knicks. Blow this in 7. Oh my God, that is incredible. They're going to be basket cases.
You just can't play with cash.
He's had a rough week, huh? Supposedly in his bar, there's people in his bar holding up signs, "Go Knicks." They got fired. They're getting fired. You're fired. Oh, he'd be on the way to the hospital.
Well, the text has been sent to my father, my brother-in-law, and my nephew.
And what? And crickets. Crickets, right?
Uninvited to Mother's Day.
Crickets. Total crickets.
Their
so
phone
far.
service is cricket.
I said, "How we doing, boys?"
How are you?
And Damon's falls like, how did we lose this kid?
Huh?
Sure, he did.
Of course. What's that have to do?
He just have fun. Well, he was a season ticket holder, Big D.
That's true.
Waiting for LeBron to come so I could sell all the tickets every year. That didn't.
Hedge work.
I took such a beating on those tickets, I couldn't give them away.
That was more like a sludge.
Ugh.
Wow. I saw you. I said, man, what the hell did Paul become such a basketball fan?
I bet it.
What was exciting?
I just bet it in live betting.
Did you?
Good.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
I bet him plus 12.
Oh, you felt, wow. Oh, my God, that's great. What was it, when they were down by 20?
Yeah.
You had a hunch, huh? They were
I
gonna...
just figured I wanted to care more.
Wow.
But it's fun. I got to be honest with you. This has been like college basketball fun.
Yes, it has been college basketball fun. Actually, all the playoff games except for the one.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Slick's going to do some more sports. Rick Delgado's going to do some more news. Paul Nolan's got some news coming up as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down. But right now, please welcome back to the show, AMAC Action Senior Vice President, our friend Andy Manion. Andy, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Doing great, Tim, and good to see you guys.
Good to see you as well. AMAC Action recently supported a bill that would lower health care costs, and the president, he's teasing a big announcement. And Politico is reporting tonight that it could be something having to do with prescription drug costs. You guys supported a bill that would lower health care costs for patients and taxpayers. It's called the Same Care Lower Costs Act, and it was just introduced by Tuesday by Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, one of our favorites. Why do we need legislation like the Same Care Lower Costs Act? Tell me a little bit about it. Give me a little background.
Well, the bill concerns Medicare and payment structures, and Medicare has some wacky payment structures. Like its current billing structure has reimbursed hospital outpatient departments at significantly higher rates than a physician office or an ambulatory surgical center, even when the identical service can be delivered in these non-hospital settings. And what the bill wants to do is make these inefficient payment disparities more efficient because they cost taxpayers and patients billions of dollars.
So what does the bill do to address those concerns that you just laid out?
The bill would fix the part of this billing structure that allows hospital systems to charge patients for outpatient care at more expensive hospital rates. It creates greater transparency by allowing the Secretary of Health and Human Services to make more Medicare billing codes eligible for site-neutral payment reform. And David, what this reform means is that more payment classifications in the Medicare program can be reimbursed at the same rate regardless of the site of service. And I wanted to point out that this legislation will exempt emergency and trauma-related services. So these provisions would not include that to ensure that urgent care would continue to receive full support, I should say.
So, you know, when you listen to the left, all they talk about, and they make it seem like President Trump and the Republicans, of course, want to kill Medicare, kill Medicaid, push Granny off a cliff, all of that stuff. So how would the proposed law affect? Now, again, President Trump just teased a big announcement, and Politico is speculating that it could be about drug prices. And the president's teasing it as the biggest announcement ever dealing with this subject matter. So it makes sense that it could be that. But how does this proposed law affect the Medicare program and the Medicare beneficiaries even more than what you've already laid out?
Well, for starters, the Congressional Budget Office is estimating that expanding site-neutral payments would save Medicare over $156 billion over the next decade. And for seniors, which obviously hold a near and dear place in the heart of AMAC, these reforms are expected to deliver $51 billion in premium reductions, $43 billion in cost-sharing relief, that's out-of-pocket expenses, and an additional $43 billion in Medigap savings. That's totaling $137 billion in direct savings to beneficiaries. You could see why we're very interested in this bill.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you can go to amac.us/Studio6B, amac.us/Studio6B if you want to join AMAC for just $16 a year right now. And of course, yeah, it gets you the AMAC magazine, access to real money saving discounts as well. amac.us/Studio6B. Andy, always a pleasure to have you on for a few minutes. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Damon. My pleasure.
All right, Andy Manion right there, AMAC Action Senior Vice President, talking about this Same Care Lower Cost Act bill that they've gotten behind. They're doing great work on things like this that matter to you, right? And this is why when we talk about AMAC and joining AMAC, it's a company that represents your values, company that represents the things that are affecting your life, country that, things that are affecting things you're making decisions on, things that you want to see done. Not just funding this crazy leftist stuff that the other guys are doing there. So amac.us/Studio6B, check them out. And if you haven't joined, and I know many of you in this audience have, we get great response from the Studio 6B audience. So if you haven't yet, check them out, amac.us/Studio6B. Paul Nolan's here. Mr. Nolan, let's talk about some headlines that have caught your attention. What's going on?
Well, I think what's going on, India and Pakistan is going to have geopolitical ramifications that, frankly, I think is going to, a role an extension of Russia and China at this point when you look at the overall global trade war. Like what we know so far is India launched missiles into Pakistan and they did severe destruction. I believe it was 31 people are dead and it might be up to 40 now. Over 50, it's over 65 now have been injured on 6 different cities. At this point right now, we see a great deal of saber rattling going on between the leaders. I don't know if you saw Modi responded by saying that they're going to inflict complete destruction on all who are responsible for these attacks. And when you kind of look back, these guys have been going at it since like 47. That was the first time, the Kashmir War. And then in 65, they went head to head with almost 2 million people were killed up to that point. 71, they had the Bangladesh Liberation War. In 99, they had another war. 2001, there was another. It's been nonstop. In 98, they both tested nuclear bombs. So I think they're number 6 and number 7 each in nuclear weaponry. And now what I'm seeing here is this. When you think about it, Russia does so much business with India. I think 60% of its, munitions and military equipment come from Russia. And I think 50% of all their fuel comes from Russia. So now, obviously, we're at odds with Russia through the Ukrainian war. China and Russia have been cozying up to each other because we've kind of drove a wedge into, the relations between both of those nations, really going back to Obama. And then when you think about it, China's now getting pummeled by these tariffs. Apple announced they're leaving. Dell announced they're leaving. HP announced they're leaving. A bunch of companies are leaving there, and they're all moving where? To India, who's China's biggest ally in the Middle East. Pakistan. Pakistan is now being pushed and prodded into, creating a little war. I feel like this is almost the same way that the Americans, Biden and Kerry and, the Clintons all kind of goaded Ukraine into NATO to create, let's poke that bear. And then we had, obviously, no one's going to tell me that wasn't a U.S. proxy war with NATO, which is essentially the military wing of the U.S. in Europe. And I think we're going to see more of this. I think things are going to get way worse. And this to me is hostile because, what Modi tweeted, and then I forgot the name of the Pakistani leader, but his exact quote, was something to the effect of, we have plenty of nuclear weapons. They're not meant for a museum. They're meant to be used, and we have every intention of using them as this escalates. So to me, I think that, I think we're, got something pretty hairy going on here, and I think that, I think it's going to get way worse. That's all I'm saying. I think there's a lot to be said here.
Now, the Trump administration here has kind of, have they, or do they have to kind of play both sides? Because obviously, we support India, I would think, but they've also talked about, the Trump administration has talked about renewed Pakistan cooperation. So where does that leave the Trump administration here in taking a side? Do they still hold the leverage that they're going to need to? Obviously, stability in the region, counterterrorism, cooperation, things like that we do.
Yeah, I think he absolutely. This is going to be one of those things where he cannot. I don't believe he can really truly take a side in this one.
I mean, we're Pakistan's top exporter, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not just that, like, India's starting to bring American industry there, which, is going to have an effect on the bottom line. I wonder if he could parlay and play his cards into bring all those companies here, but what would happen? He'd have to give massive tax breaks to the billionaires, and that would, set the media storm on fire here. So how he plays this, I don't know. I'm glad he's, I'm glad he's surrounded by a good think tank around him. But I think this is going to be fascinating to watch it unfold, because I do think this is a bigger story than the local news is really, talking about. I think this is going to be fascinating to follow. So,
by the way, speaking of President Trump, he has put out a truth tonight saying a big news conference tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., on a trade deal. News conference in the Oval Office. Most people speculate that it has something to do with India. Mm-hmm. Would be all inclinations would lean that way. Someone was it Vin last night who said India has already decided to drop all tariffs?
Yeah, that's what I've seen, and that's what Vin also saw as well. That they were going to drop all tariffs and try to kind of get the deal done that way. Huge. And then you've also got Trump's got his background with the prime ministers or the president. What did they have? A prime minister, India?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
with his with the prime minister's father, I believe they were good friends.
Prime Minister Modi, yeah,
right. He was good friends with him, so it's almost like a slam dunk for them to get this deal done. Without any friction, so to speak, because they've got a nice background, a long working relationship together.
What I still find fascinating is Trump wants to have dialogue with Russia and Putin. Tucker Carlson has dialogue, and anybody who has any kind of dialogue with Russia means that you're a Russian puppet.
Right.
I mean, we don't want diplomacy. That's now a bad thing. The left is so delusional and has such Trump derangement syndrome that any dialogue is bad. Okay. So I'm still trying to figure out how the left thinks, but I don't.
Well, it's bad because it's Trump.
Yeah.
Because it was okay when Hillary, did the reset button. Remember that disaster with her?
With her uranium deal to Russia. Yeah.
And remember with Obama telling Medvedev that tell Putin I'll have more leverage after the election.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Exactly. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Every single Democrat was okay kissing Putin's butt. But until then Trump came along, and that upsets the apple cart.
Yeah, well, they need a boogeyman to continue to promote their wars, and and I gotta believe that Trump's going to be able to somehow or another negotiate global trade, because this has to end. All this all this war and all the bombing and all the killing. It's gotten to the point where it feels like we're waiting for World War III. That's what it just feels like.
All right, 41 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. So Trump, did you guys realize that Trump had pulled his own nomination for Surgeon General?
Yes, it happened. It was a last-minute pivot for Surgeon General.
Neshawat is out.
Yep, Dr. Casey Means is now in.
Dr. Casey Means is in. And people are speculating that Casey Means was chosen because she is another one of these doctors who has refused to talk out and speak out against the vaccines. What do you know about that?
I don't know anything about that. From what I understand, she's
a big supporter might be a little strong, but she doesn't seem to have a problem with them.
Advocate.
She seems to be big in the Make America Healthy Again movement and ties to RFK Jr. with his campaign. Plus, the previous woman, Dr. Jeanette Neshawat, I guess her credentials came into question. She lied about where she went to medical school.
How do you do
a lot of inconsistencies.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not good.
And she's tied again. She's the sister-in-law of former National Security Advisor Mike Waltz.
How do you lie about that, Slick?
You don't.
You lied about your medical records.
Right.
In this day and age, in the 70s, you can get away with it.
All right, we'll wrap it up for a Wednesday night. Talk a little bit more about this when we get back. Live from Studio 6B.
Is he okay? Is your mom a Celtics fan?
No, she doesn't care.
Oh, she doesn't care.
She watches whatever he watches, which is usually us. He says it ain't over till it's over. Maybe we'll win in New York. Maybe we'll win in New York.
It ain't over till the fat lady sings, but she just got a Ozempic sponsorship, so she's looking pretty good right now.
That doesn't sound too confident, do you think? Maybe we'll win in New York.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
We ain't going to quit, he says, that's for sure. We got to get Tatum to find out where the basket is.
Yeah,
How many points did Tatum have
I don't
tonight?
think Tatum was the problem.
Tatum,
I saw him put the Celtics ahead with 12 seconds to go there.
Mm-hmm. My brother-in-law and my nephew are radio silence. They're probably crying in their cornflakes right now.
Their green cornflakes?
Yeah.
Crying with their Red Auerbach cigars in the backyard.
Andy Ryder on YouTube. Big D in the gang got me tuned in down here in Louisiana. Flip-flops tonight, Big D? You'll never know. You'll never know.
Is he talking about your fandom for the Celtics or the Knicks?
Find the chat on. Oh, so we can't go to Real America.
Maybe stream.
I don't think.
Click on my face right there. Take you right to the live.
Oh, that's cool.
Chat. Man, fast show tonight.
Oh, former Brooks over there. Cool.
Hour two. The first hour dragged a little. The second hour was
Tika 65. She's in there. Doc's gal. Ratchet. Says, how did I miss the clip?
Toronto won game one, Paul.
Astro Tech 2 says, I don't know who I hate more, Boston or New York.
That's going 7.
NP Hughes on Excess. Casey Means is a good pick. I mean,
Toronto's up 2-0.
It just seems to me that she hasn't talked out too much about mRNA or vaccines. And I think someone said she dropped out. She hasn't actually practiced medicine. I think I saw this. She hasn't actually practiced medicine since she dropped out of residency school, I believe.
Yeah, she dropped out at age 30.
And I don't think she actually practices medicine.
She's a holistic doctor.
That series could be over. Yep,
okay.
2-0, you're right. I was looking at the statistic. They didn't update the bottom.
If anybody at this point can't talk out about the vaccines, I'm not sure how great a pick they are.
Oh.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B. We'll do a little more sports and news here before we wrap it up on a Wednesday. We'll start with sports. Man, big update coming here. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Slickster, what's going on?
Before we get that, I just want to shout out in the YouTube chat, Drag Blacker for $5. India has both a president and a prime minister. The former appoints the latter, who has the real executive power.
India, you mean? India.
Yeah, I said India. I corrected myself. Yep.
Oh.
India. They're both a president and a prime minister. The former appoints the latter, who has the real executive power. Thank you, Dred Blacker. Want to get to that. All right, well, we got it in Indiana, Boston. You call it. Big D, big upset there. I think up in Boston, the Knicks have defeated the Celtics 91-90. They take a 2-0 lead back to Madison Square Garden. And listen to this statistic. The team that has won their first 2 games of a playoff on the road have won 95.7% of the series.
Is that a lot?
95.7. At least enough room for error that only the Knicks could probably succeed at covering that.
Exactly what I'm thinking, boy. This is the kiss of
You know what?
death stat right here.
It's been 1973, long time since Dave DeBusschere days. Anyway,
this is like when Mike Breen or somebody says he hasn't missed a free throw in 20 years. Next one.
The field goal kicker hasn't missed, right? And great night. Josh Hart, the Knicks shooting guard, 23 points. And Knicks had a 30-17 run in the fourth quarter, Big D. Very similar to what they did Monday night, including Bridges ripping the ball away from one of their stars. Monday night was Brown, and tonight was Tatum. Wow, just an exceptional win. A lot of excitement in New York. They haven't won an NBA title since 1973. You do the math, long time. So unbelievable. So, keep an eye on that. Let's get over to the NHL. Big D. Maple Leafs 4-3 over the Panthers. They have now also taken a 2-0 lead, but they're at home, and this is the East Conference second round. And Stars and Jets just about ready to drop the puck up in Winnipeg there, and that's a game 1 series is starting. And Nuggets and Thunder are up 18-9 over Denver. Thunder really needed this game as well, but we'll see. That series is 1-0 Denver leading, 7 to go there in the first. But as we know, plenty of time there. Major League Baseball, we haven't done baseball scores in a little bit. Padres and Yankees tied at 3, bottom of the 9th. We got the Reds over the Braves 4-3, also bottom of the 9th. Top 8 Twins lead the Orioles 5-2. Royals over the White Sox 2-1. Top 9, we have a good game. Tigers and Rockies tied at 5, top of the 4th. Bottom first, no score, Blue Jays and Angels. Earlier today, these are all finals. The Guardians over the Nationals 8-6. Astros toppled the Brewers 9-1. Cardinals blanked the Pirates 5-0 there. Giants 3-1 over the Cubbies, and the Mariners 6-5 over the Athletics there. So rest of the scores we'll get to another time. And I just want to get to one quick story. Donna Kelsey has advice for high schoolers in college selection process. Go as far away as they possibly can. Kelsey says kids will grow more away from people they see all the time. This is Ryan Canfield of Fox News. Donna Kelsey had some advice for high school kids who are deciding where to go to college. Kelsey, mother to Jason and Travis Kelsey, household names, right, who both went to the University of Cincinnati, said kids should go to college far away from their hometown. I think people should go as far as they can. That's my viewpoint. I think that you grow more when you're away from people that you are with all the time, Donna said during a recent appearance on New Heights. I think that if you're going to do the same thing and go to a college and have the same friends around you, you are never going to have any growth. You are never going to be able to be on your own and try to figure things out on your own. You're always going to have somebody there besides you to help you through all those decisions. So, Kelsey, and what was it? That's Taylor Swift's future mother-in-law? No, I don't know about that. But anyway, Big D, that's a wrap in sports. Back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. 9 minutes to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday. Sports, of course, is brought to you by our friend Mike Lindell. LFS 6B is the promo code to use at checkout if you want to shop at MyPillow for all the great stuff that Mike has. And, of course, by doing it, you're always supporting him, which, of course, he needs. He's always under attack from the left and from the media. And, of course, just trying to survive in a world where people are always attacking you. It's tough. So he uses people like you who keep him going. So LFS 6B, and they keep us going, by the way. LFS 6B, and we appreciate it, is the code to use at MyPillow. Rick Delgado, let's do a little more news before we wrap it on a Wednesday. What else is going on?
All right. Well, I don't know if you saw this little piece of tape, which is, let's face it, when you look at the deep state media and the talking heads over there, now you wonder. Well, you stop to wonder. You stop wondering why people don't watch them anymore. I don't know if you caught this. Here is cut number 2, giving you another reason why nobody should be watching MSNBC. Check this out. Cut number 2.
Back out. So we finished the first episode.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I need a drink. I need a drink. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And we're going to eat. We're going to drink. We're going to party. We're going to eat. We're going to drink. And we're going to be back tomorrow.
Meanwhile, in the back,
these are your anchors.
Working.
What's wrong with this?
They're bringing the shit down.
I mean, me and Slick do that almost every night when we hit the kitchen. By the time we get to the front,
I was going to say that looked like the green room the other night on Friday night.
What's wrong with that?
That looked like a Macy's Day Parade, but I don't want to chase.
What color shoes? What color shoes?
You see that float?
Which one were you, Damon? The first one or the second one?
I'm probably the first one.
Yeah, the short hair.
And I don't know
in the white pantsuit.
And I don't know if you caught this, but file this under I told you so. Humanoid robot attacks worker during test in Chinese factory. And so it begins. I don't know if you caught this clip. It's a Unitary H1 humanoid robot that is hanging by a construction crane, basically as they're prepping it. Turns out the video here shows the robot losing control, and you can guess what happens next. Here it is. Here is cut number 6. Check this out as the humanoid robot, this Chinese humanoid AI robot, goes berserk.
So, Aaron, I have my clip. So let's see if we can make Damon's head explode. Because I had this story, but I had another story, but not enough time for it.
Whoa.
So there you have that.
Well, it didn't do anything, though.
Well, it was out of control.
It could have karate. If you noticed, it was trying to karate chop anybody it could find. Also, the same
That's what I
company.
do when anyone comes towards my Frosted Flakes or something like that. I have the same moves.
I thought you were dancing towards your food. Anyhow, here is cut number 7. Another robot from the same company, Unitree. H1 robot as it malfunctions and lunges towards a spectator in the crowd. Check this out. Watch. It starts.
This is
look at this.
Oh.
They have to pull it back. And as you can see, other robots are walking by looking at it like, what did he just do?
I got a 1-minute clip. If we can squeeze it before it, it's connected to this.
Are you worried about these things, Delgado?
I am.
This robot is powered by lab-grown human brain cells. Chinese researchers have developed this brain-on-chip technology called MetaBOC. Researchers say that their tiny lab-grown brain could learn tasks faster than current AI models. They say it uses much less energy than AI, which needs a lot of power and data to learn. These brain cells also show more, quote, intuition and creativity than AI, learning with fewer examples. Could this be because some aspect of the human spirit is locked in these brain cells? And is there any moral issue with using human brain cells? And
the fact that they've actually developed the DNA into a brain cell, and that they're saying the brain cells are so light and it's adaptable, it's pretty fascinating what they're capable of doing. And the AI technology is just exponentially rolling over itself at such a pace. You know, in a couple of years, it's just a matter of time before robots could be used in almost every factory job and every,
Not only that they'll start building themselves.
It's truly astounding, the fact that they talk about being able to regenerate DNA-based brain cells. I don't know how far they're off, but I thought that was pretty interesting. That it's kind of getting weird out there.
When were they going to become available to put one in your house? Are you going to put one in your house?
Yeah, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Never.
No
way.
Nice one.
You're not?
Unless she's really hot. No.
A hot bot.
I want a femme.
She's got a hottie body.
I tell you what, as if kids don't have a problem with the
She's a hottie body
industry. Wait till they start getting robots in the house.
As always, we salute our military, active and inactive, police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us. Thanks everybody on the show. I think Aaron and Frank, great job as always. We'll see you tomorrow night, Thursday night, and then Friday live at the America First Warehouse.
When are we getting some robot show hosts?
Live from Studio 6.